And we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Nerd Talk. I'm going to wait a minute for the notifications to go out because they don't go out for a few minutes. It seems like recently it's taken a while for that to happen. So very excited for today. It's going to be crazy. We've got lots of things to talk about regarding the Marvel Universe in 2021. They announced a lot of things at the beginning, at the end of the year.
Hey, Ken.
Yes.
Mod that one. Tina.
Oh, I'm not even seeing anything.
See what?
No, I don't know. It might be her, but I don't know.
It is. It's her.
Seeing
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
It's her other account.
I was confused about what you were talking about. So
He's gonna switch.
Dad confused me. He shouldn't have even.
Well, you know, if she's gonna use her alter identity.
She says, okay, I'm normal again.
Yeah. It's fine.
Hi, everybody.
It's
Thanks for messing me up, Dad. Rockin' Robin was first. Then we had Joe, Infinity, Dad, Teresa, Martin, Tina, Christine Hickman, Alex, the filmmaker, Dad Builds. Hello, welcome everybody in. A lot of Marvel things to talk about.
We're not only going to talk about Loki.
No, I never said that we were only going to talk about Loki.
I'm just putting it out there right now.
I'm wearing my Loki shirt because I am excited. I got this for Christmas. Love him.
Yay!
So we're going to be talking about all of the really interesting Marvel things that are going to be coming out in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I have four primary things here to talk about. We've got other things also. Those are just the things that I focused on. Karki, Garrett, hello, everybody. Welcome in. So Mom's here too. Yeah, someone very thoughtful bought me this shirt. My mom. So before we start talking about that, though, I really want to say, just really quick, I just hit 800 subscribers. Thank you all very much. I really appreciate that. It's been an interesting year on YouTube and stuff, so I'm very excited that I'm continuing to create more of a community on my channel. Very exciting. Thank you so much. Also,
I'm gonna unsubscribe now, so she's back down to 170.
I'm at 801, so try.
Oh, yes.
So, yes, thank you guys so much. So,
there's your notification.
Your notification just went out.
Also, thank you, Dean, at the Live Place for hosting our show on the Live Place. You can find us there, our time slot, 3 o'clock on Sundays, with our weird rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I was going to speak to that too. I spoke to Dean last week and was telling him about what we had planned for this year for Nerd Talk, and I just was going to tell you guys that he was congratulating us for our success, and so thanks, Dean. So he does a lot of work for us and for this community, so we really appreciate him, and thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's all I wanted to really talk about before. So let's get into the Marvel stuff. First of all, Jeff's not here. Abby is.
Yes.
So we upgraded.
Upgrade.
A total upgrade.
Well, Abby was excited to talk about Marvel stuff, so right about Loki.
I was watching this stuff this morning. We watched it while I was eating breakfast at like 11.
Yeah, so she watched Loki trailer. We watched your reaction, Kenzie. So if you guys haven't seen Kenzie's reaction to the Loki trailer, you need to go out and watch that because you can actually watch Kenzie react and watch the trailer at the same time. So, and then
Kenzie's reaction's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about the Loki. I will admit, obviously, the thing I'm most excited about with this whole list is the Loki series, but that's not all.
Right. And then we watched Winter Soldier and Falcon.
That one, I think, I'm excited for that one too because I really like their interaction they have, like their relationship they have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where it's not like they're not like best friends and they like don't like each other, but they do at the same time.
Yeah. So we got Abby all caught up. So
Does Infinity
good.
wants to know how Jeff's doing with the ceiling fan?
well, I was just in there and he was taking a screw out, so I'm not sure what happened. But he said I don't need a supervisor, and he basically told me to get lost. So
Sounds like Jeff.
yeah.
So, should we go in order of when they're scheduled to be released? We could do
Sure.
that.
Sure.
The 4 things that I have in order go WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, and then What If. Those are the 4 shows that I did the most research on. So WandaVision. Let me read my little notes about it.
Can I ask a quick question before we get started? Will
Yeah.
WandaVision go all the way and then it'll end and Loki will pick up like right then, or is there going to be time in between? Do we know?
So for WandaVision, we're gonna have 6 or 8 episodes. It's not confirmed which.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's scheduled to premiere on January 15th. So
Okay.
check that on your
Cool.
calendars. I'm gonna be watching it
close.
today.
Yes.
Really very excited about it.
Yes.
So like I said, 6 or 8 episodes, and then after that we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is scheduled to debut in March.
Yeah.
March 19th. After that, we have Loki, which is scheduled to debut in May.
Mm-hmm.
And What If, scheduled just says mid-2021.
Oh.
So we don't have a specific date on that. So these are the primary things we have with dates.
Okay.
Right. And,
yeah,
and each one are about 6 episodes each.
Maybe
Yeah.
more. Okay.
So for the Loki series, we're getting 6 episodes. For Falcon and Winter Soldier, we're getting 6. And then What If, I saw somewhere that it said 10.
Yeah, it's 10,
Okay.
What's What If?
but they're shorter. We'll
Yes,
we'll
they're
get to
a
that
lot
when we get to that. 'cause
Yeah,
it's- I'll-
okay.
I'll explain to that because that's
There's
It's
another
complicated.
source that I saw that said 23 episodes, but I think they've already confirmed a season 2 for What If.
Yeah.
So,
they're already working on season 2.
all right. So my notes on WandaVision. It's obviously going to be a mini series on Disney Plus. It's been created by Jack Schaefer and directed by Matt Shackman.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda, Paul Bettany as Vision, Teyonah Parris as Monica Rambeau, who is the daughter of Maria from Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is
Oh.
the thing about WandaVision. We're getting really random characters in this.
No, we're not.
I know it's not actually
Okay.
random, but looking at it on face value,
Yes.
It looks
It seems
so
random. It does.
because we've got the daughter of Maria from Captain Marvel, and then we've got Kat Dennings, who was an intern for Jane Foster in Thor.
Yep.
And we've got Randall Park as Jimmy Woo, as
Oh.
parole officer of Scott Lang.
Yeah.
3 very random characters if you don't know what's going on.
Right.
We've also got Catherine Hahn as Agnes, their nosy neighbor, and Fred Melamed as Arthur Hart, their other neighbor. Deborah Jo Rupp as Mrs. Hart. Asif Ali as an undisclosed role. And apparently Jolene Purdy. Doesn't say anything about her. It's the first series confirmed in Phase 4.
Mhm.
So that's the info I have on that. Russ.
So phase 4, okay, and this is probably going to confuse you, Ange, but this is going to be phase 4 is all about the multiverse, okay. So WandaVision is going to be the introduction to the multiverse. That's why we're getting these other characters from other shows that we
Uh-huh.
already know. So the multiverse is basically the interdimensional things that are going on within the Marvel universe. So they can grab a storyline from one thing and put it with another, and they can grab from another thing and put it with another. So you're going to have all these characters. Well, the plot of the story with Wanda and Vision comes from the House of M comics and talks about some of like their relationship, how they were, they were really married in the comics. and how it's the origin story of Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
And so it's going to be all of those things kind of mixed together. And a lot of these shows, same with the way the movies are, they borrow and grab from different pieces of the comics to create these stories, and then embellish those and make them their own.
Okay.
So this will be a brand new multiverse that we've never really seen before, even. So I mean, they are going to borrow things from comics, but it's going to be a brand new multiverse, and this will carry over in every single new thing that's coming out that was announced. So take what you know from the Avengers and the other movies and all that. Remember who the characters are, but totally throw out all of their storylines.
Okay.
Because they're all going to change.
Okay.
So just be aware of that. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just thought it was really funny when I was writing down all these characters, and I'm like, okay, so we got someone from Captain Marvel, someone from Thor, and
Mhm.
someone from Ant-Man, but none
Mhm.
of them are main characters, and they're all very small parts in those movies.
well, and here's the other thing with Phase 4, because they've used the main characters already in the other phases. Phase 4 will start to introduce the new Avengers and the new people. So they like Monica Rambeau, she eventually in the comics actually becomes Captain
Yeah.
Marvel.
Yeah,
And so it's going to be those stepping people. We're going to introduce those people. They may not be those heroes yet, but again, it will be their origin story, so they don't have to do 50 origin stories when they talk about this person.
Right. Right. Okay.
So because Monica Rambeau will also play a major part in the Captain Marvel 2,
Mhm.
and we may see her get her powers and things like that. So it's
Okay.
gonna it's gonna be all over the place. I'll tell
Yeah. We're going to see what they're going to do with Black Panther too, I guess, right?
you. Yeah, well, that's another announcement. We can talk about that later. That's later down in the year.
Yeah.
And I have the list of everything that they're going to do, not just for this year. And we can just touch on those. But I mean, because there's lots to talk about with just these 4. So,
Mhm.
but that's kind of what I know from WandaVision. Tracy, you want to add?
So, and I put it in the chat for because I didn't want to interrupt everything. There has been a TV show that dealt with a multiverse type of situation going on.
Yeah, DC has the same thing.
DC did it with Arrow. Arrow did the Arrowverse, and they brought in a lot when they opened up to the Flash, and they opened up to Supergirl. They opened up to I think what was it, Batgirl? Like DC Arrowverse, which is nothing compared to when you were talking about DC's movies. Totally different than what they did on TV. It's not a combined thing. So, like when they did Justice League, they didn't use the Flash from the TV. They cast their own Flash, so there was no really bleed over. So here with Disney Plus, with Marvel and their Disney Plus and their movies, they're actually going to combine them. They didn't do it with this very rarely and only on a fringe when Netflix had their 4 shows, which was Luke Cage, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist. They had what was called the Defenders. It was an offshoot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, only for the fact that they mentioned stuff that happened in the cinematic universe in those shows. I think we're going to see a better integration between the Disney Plus shows and the Marvel Universe. And I think this is going to be awesome. I would love to even bring back, listen, Daredevil from Netflix was an awesome show. I don't think they'll have that same reception on Disney Plus because they couldn't get away with what they did on Netflix on Disney Plus.
Right.
But
they can still introduce his character
correct
in the multiverse now if they wanted to.
Which is great because now we could really bring in but if anybody who's familiar with the Arrowverse on the TV, DC TV, on the CW, it'd be a lot easier to understand what's going to happen on a Disney Plus Marvel. So
because everything will tie together. Yeah, I mean, the whole multiverse concept is something that the comics they came up with this so that they could reintroduce fresh content for
And
the
make
same
more money,
big money characters.
and they can make more money.
And
They
it's
can sell
also a
more
way
comics.
for to bring in new creators and things who have a different spin on those things. And then you've got the graphic novels, you've got the comics, you've got each thing. There are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of stories about Captain America, but then you have the canon things that this is his origin story. But then in this universe, it might be slightly different, or in this universe, it might be a different person, or in this universe, it might be a lady. So it just depends on whatever universe you're in. And then this now in Phase 4 will now grab and borrow those and combine them. So I'm excited about it. I mean, of course, you guys know how much of a Marvel nerd I am.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. So.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with that. Obviously, I love Wanda and Vision's characters.
Mhm.
And I know that there's like talk about their kids, because I know that canonically Wanda and Vision do have 2 children, a boy and a girl. I don't know if they're going to
use them or not.
Yeah, I don't know, because I know this is a lot of it is all in Wanda's head and that kind of
Right.
thing. That's kind of what they've implied, that this is all going on in their head.
Well, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
What I'm saying is I know that they canonically have 2 children together, and it is seen that she, has 2 children in the show, so in the trailers. So I'm looking forward to seeing if they do anything with that.
I do think that a lot of it is going to be in her head, but a lot of it also, I think, is going to be that whoever is controlling them, they're trapped.
Yeah.
And so
I'm
they're
just
trapped in her nightmare or whatever it is. That's what it's kind of being. So
obviously everything will make sense when we eventually do watch it. I mean, that happens a lot with this stuff. We didn't understand anything that was going to go on with Mandalorian, and it all makes sense to us now. So it's a lot of we have to wait until we see what they do.
Yeah.
But it is fun to speculate and to come up with new ideas and think about it.
Abby, what do you guys look like about the whole WandaVision thing? What do you guys think of it?
I mean, I don't know what to expect with it. I'm excited about it because I like those 2 characters. So
Yeah, I do too.
What do you
Scarlet
think?
Witch-
Abby will have more to say than me.
Scarlet Witch is definitely probably one of my favorite Marvel characters. I just really I like her character a lot, just the way that they decided to portray her and a lot of different things. And then I'm excited to see how they're going to try to show her life with Vision, because as we know now in Endgame, Vision was gone. Infinity War, he's dead. So it'll be kind of cool to see how they're going to try to take it back in time almost to when he was still alive, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of twists and turns. I'm excited.
Mhm.
So the next show we have, I know even less about this one because I haven't watched all of these trailers. I'm really trying to give myself not spoiling myself or anything. I just want to be excited and see what I see, but I also wanted to see the Loki trailer, so I had to do that. But next up, we have scheduled to debut on March 19th, we have The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Also a miniseries on Disney Plus, created by Malcolm Spellman. We have Anthony Mackie as Sam, or Falcon, Sebastian Stan as Bucky / Winter Soldier. We also have Daniel Bruhl as Baron Helmut Zemo. I don't think I'm saying that right, but he was responsible for the breakup in Civil War between the Avengers.
Yeah.
And we've also got Emily Van Camp as Sharon Carter.
Sharon Carter's coming in?
Yep.
Peggy Carter's niece. And Wyatt Russell as John Walker, a materialistic successor to Captain America. That's all I could write out. But
I'll explain his character.
So how is Sebastian Stan going to be in this when he's playing Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, I know. What the heck, man? He's doing double duty.
Just
He's
kidding.
Winter Soldier first.
He's
All right.
already on payroll. Just add another show.
So
Like
listen,
seriously.
All right.
this is Marvel talk. You don't want Star Wars to overlap.
He's going to be a very rich man.
So
The
So
Falcon
I'm kind of looking.
action packed.
So I'm wondering whereabouts this is going to come into the Marvel. Is this? I mean, I know it's supposed to be Phase 4, but just like when you don't have Vision,
Mhm.
is this is if they're going with the multiverse where this isn't Winter Soldier, or you got Falcon, who's technically after the last movie that was put out is now Captain America. He's not Falcon. He's Captain America.
Oh, yeah. Good
Well,
point.
Can continue, and then I'll explain.
I mean, are they going with an offshoot of just the same thing as the Loki? It's not going to be in the same 616 universe, or is it going to be Winter Soldier learning how to be Captain America?
Okay, so this is based on the U.S. Agent and the Flag Smashers comic series, and so this is based on it's going to take place after Endgame, so it's continuing the story, and it's going to be very much like Captain America: Winter Soldier, that kind of a feel, the spy thriller type feel.
Now is this multiverse or is this still
This
in
is not multiverse.
what?
So
This is not multiverse.
Okay, so this
this
is
is a continuation story now.
after Steve had
After
gone
Endgame.
back in time.
Okay.
So this is real life. The real life in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Because those two are still around. They survived.
Yeah, they survived.
Right.
They're still-
So in the comics, what happens is that Falcon does accept the shield, but he's also afraid of it because he doesn't feel like he can fill Cap's shoes.
Yeah.
And so they continue to do the missions and they work, but he remains Falcon. The
Mhm.
shield goes in a museum. They kind of put it away for a little bit, but the government decides we need Captain America. So they find and they hire a soldier who is the John Walker character to come in to fill Cap's shoes. So
Okay.
it's a fake Captain America, basically. And
Uh,
he is not a hero. He's all about himself. He's, like I said, he's very materialistic. He's, he just wants the fame is what he wants.
Okay.
And so you're going to have that issue there. You're also going to have the Flag Smashers, which are an anti-government group, terrorist group, who are basically trying to control the government, after all of the aftermath of Endgame, and all of that kind of a thing. So
Mhm.
we're going to have lots of martial arts in this. George Batrock's coming back as with George St. Pierre, the MMA fighter. He's going to make another appearance as a bad guy. Baron Zemo will be back. And in the comics, he wears like a purple mask, and he's actually going to wear that in the show. So and then of course we've got Sharon Carter, who is the defunct agent, or Shield agent. So it's going to be an interesting thing because Shield is no longer a thing. Obviously, Nick Cage is also not in the picture at the moment. And so, or not, yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. So, like I say, it's gonna be a spy thriller with a lot of, kind of the terrorist type stuff, and
We're going to be getting a lot of action in this one.
Mhm.
I doubt we're going to be getting a lot of action in WandaVision, so it might
Mhm.
make up for that.
Okay.
Regardless, I'm sure we're also going to be getting a lot of action in the Loki series. So
yes,
I'm very much looking forward to Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's going to be cool. Bucky is like also one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Bucky and Loki have always been my two biggest characters for me. So,
Why is that?
Now, is it because it's Loki or is it because it's Tom Hiddleston or
both.
Sebastian Stan or Bucky?
Both. The same thing, Abby.
Because
Yeah.
I know me and my friends have talked about that too. But like liking Loki because of Tom Hiddleston or Bucky because of Sebastian Stan.
Well, I know those two characters I didn't know about those actors before those characters. Same kind of thing. I didn't know Pedro Pascal before Mandalorian. I didn't know a lot of actors before their characters, but these characters have grown on me. I've come to love those characters. That's why I love those actors now. I enjoy seeing Sebastian Stan in other movies, and I enjoy seeing Tom Hiddleston in other things. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know why. Just those two characters are some of my favorite.
I don't know why either. Like Abby's friend Caitlin only likes
Hayden Christensen because he plays Anakin.
Yes.
She only likes the third and second movie because of Hayden Christensen
Yes.
being in the movies.
Yeah, I totally get that.
So did I answer your question, Tracy?
Sure.
Okay,
Yes.
I didn't know because you went away, so I didn't know.
Bathroom. So next up, anything else about Falcon and Winter Soldier? Anybody wants to
I don't
talk
think so.
about?
I'm just excited to see their relationship because, as we've seen before, Bucky and Falcon, they don't really like each other, but they end up getting along because of Captain America and because they're both friends with him. So they end up having to get along even though they don't really like each other. So it's fun to see them kind of like joke around with each other and like tease each other over things.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna get a lot of really cool. I'm hoping banter between them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
happens a lot.
Yeah, you could even see it in the trailer too, like their conversations that they were having, and just it was a lot of.
I mean, those characters have always been big on the banter. Obviously, Bucky with Steve, they had a lot of banter with each other, and Falcon is very much like Steve. So, obviously we know that they're not big fans of each other, but they are going to, grow on each other, and
they have no choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Steve kind of threw them into that. So, the next series we have scheduled for May of 2021. We have the Loki series. Obviously, I'm very excited about this. It's happening in a completely different alternate universe than the MCU. So I think that's going to be really interesting. We're getting a Loki from the end of Avengers rather than Loki from Endgame with we're not getting Ragnarok Loki, which makes me a little sad because I really, really loved his character development because of Ragnarok and all that stuff. I'm very sad about that, but I'm hoping we are going to get interesting hopefully the same type of character development for him, where rather than just all the time being bad, we're going to be getting more of a
good
back and forth
bad.
thing.
Well, I think if you've noticed, they're bringing him into this whole time paradox or the time enforcement. They might actually sit there and say, "Hey, listen, buddy, not for nothing. In this other timeline, you did this," and he could see, maybe he could see I could be a good person.
See, I have a feeling we're going to be seeing crucial moments regarding Loki. I think we're going to be seeing, obviously, his mother's death, because in the Loki series, he's not aware his mother dies.
Oh.
So it's going to be really interesting seeing, what they are going to inform Loki of, because obviously they are going to be telling Loki about this other timeline that he has.
And that, if you think about that, they're eventually also going to have to tell him that in the other timeline he ended up dying.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In Infinity War. So I don't know how he's going to
motivators.
Yeah.
Loki hears about Loki. He's going to want to make sure he doesn't die now.
Yeah.
Hi, Annie Coog.
They could simply say, "Hey, listen, we're returning you to your original timeline instead of this offshoot timeline where we know you die at the hands of Thanos."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, he doesn't even know who Thanos is at this point.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Well, he does know who Thanos is, but he doesn't know about the capabilities and what he's going to end up doing in Infinity War.
Right, but you got to remember in the timeline, in the offshoot that he left in New York City, he was sent there by Thanos with the Mind Stone that supposedly Thanos was going around the world, going around the galaxy to collect.
Stupid plot hole.
Sorry.
Dad
Sorry.
gets
What'd you
about
call me? A plot hole.
so
I don't know. I watched this whole breakdown
series,
trailer thing.
we've
Did
got
you?
we've got Tom Hiddleston obviously as Loki. We've got Owen Wilson as Mobius.
Wow.
Mobius.
Wow.
We've got
Wow.
I cannot pronounce names.
I just want to see Owen Wilson go to Loki going.
Wow.
So Loki, wow.
See, we also got Owen Wilson with like gray hair, which is crazy.
Wow.
I thought it was Tony Stark's dad when I saw it in the trailer. For
I
a
knew
second.
for a fact it wasn't him because Tony Stark's dad died a while ago.
Yeah, I
So-
know, but I thought maybe they brought something back. I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, they could have. It's Marvel.
We've also got
Yeah.
Gugu Mbatha Raw, Sophia DiMartino, Sasha Lane, and Wamni Masaku. So
You got those names down cold.
I'm no.
Well,
We've got
and I think those were names just for the first episode, weren't they? Because I
when
think
I
each episode is going to be slightly different cast.
yeah, so I know that we're going to have 6 episodes.
Mhm.
It's being directed by Kay Herron. I have really high hopes for this series. You know, Disney Plus is killing it with the Star Wars show with, with Mandalorian and all that. They're killing it with that. They
Mhm.
say now we can do shows, we can do these miniseries, and we can succeed at them.
Yes.
So hopefully they're going to be putting in just as much effort and time into these shows. I know Marvel works really hard on their shows and stuff, and their movies. I'm hoping that they do just as good here. We've gotten a lot of really great content over the past 3 phases. So hopefully phase 4 lives up to what we hope it can be.
Yes.
Mhm. I don't know. I watched this one YouTube video and it was like the Loki trailer. They like broke it down and they like highlighted different parts of it. So there's a lot of different things in there that I noticed. Like one of them was when he got the Tesseract and he like was teleporting. He ended up like crashing and laying down and the Tesseract wasn't there anymore. So like did he crash? Because you've seen in the other movies he's typically very good with like moving different places, teleporting with the Tesseract. So why was it this time that he didn't have it with him anymore and he like didn't seem to land correctly and he seemed like he almost crashed.
Like he was out of sorts.
Yeah.
It seems like
I know.
he's gonna have some issues. This is kind of like a crime show, I think. We're getting
Yeah.
like Detective Loki or something
And
like
he
that.
like jumps out of the plane at one point in time in the
Yes.
trailer.
So if you've ever heard of DB Cooper,
Yes.
it is a infamous story from, years ago. A guy goes by DB Cooper, never found, asked, said he had a weapon and ended up jumping out of a plane. He was never seen again, still hasn't been seen of now. So, we're getting the idea that Loki's wreaking havoc. Loki's going to be causing problems. And we do see that, what is it called, is still in use. I'm forgetting what it's called. The teleportation thing.
Oh,
yeah,
you're talking
that.
about you're talking about with Heimdall,
Yes, with Heimdall. We've
the Rainbow Bridge and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. We've got the Rainbow Bridge catching him as he's flying out of the plane. So Asgard is still intact in this universe. Heimdall is still,
Living.
or Asgard. We've still got that going on. So I'm assuming we are going to still be getting Asgard content as well.
Well,
Mhm.
here's the thing. How do you know this is the Loki that's playing DB Cooper is actually the Loki from the Time Enforcement whatever committee? Maybe
Why
back in the
wouldn't it
past-
be, though?
No, maybe Loki was DB Cooper and he has to go, and because if the bridge is still operational, he was doing that to do whatever, and the Time Enforcement Loki has to stop
We're not-
him from being something. Who knows?
So
Hi, William.
because what he just said did not make sense.
What?
I kind
You're
of
going too far
understood it.
down the rabbit hole.
I understood it a bit.
Abby understood it.
Yeah, I kind of understood it.
No, I understood, but yeah, I know
So-
what he's talking about.
So
No,
what I'm saying is the original DB Cooper could have been Loki from the time when he was Thor's
Yeah.
brother. He was, before we see
He was still
Thor.
like free, and
Right. And so maybe the time enforcement Loki that we're going to get in the show has to either stop that Loki from doing what he's going to do, or has to, fix something, because
See-
that would only.
that was mentioned in the breakdown video I was watching about how they think that maybe Loki that they have captured right now might have to go into like different time periods of like when Loki, like the Loki that was like Thor's brother and stuff, was like doing things, and he'd have to like stop him to help
Or make
clear
him
his
work.
name so that he
Right.
didn't like so he could be set free again and stuff. And there was a lot of that.
Who knows? But
So you ready for me to explain?
no,
Yeah.
because
No.
you're going to take another half hour.
Oh, fine.
No, that's fine. Go ahead, man. I'm all ears.
So welcome in, William. First of all, so the Time Variance Authority, okay, they are in charge of controlling different events in time, and they will go through this. Actually, this show reminds me of a Marvel version of Quantum Leap. You guys remember that show?
I do.
Where he goes and he gets put into different people within different time periods to fix things, right? Tracy?
So I'll help explain. Ken's Quantum Leap. Just think
Yeah.
of Umbrella Academy,
Yeah.
the kid that goes in and
Yeah.
handles time. So that would be that would be the Time Enforcement Committee or whatever he's talking about. So so Loki goes for those same people that older kid, that the kid, what was it, number 9?
Five.
Five is part of that whole time enforcement and making sure that the timeline continues correctly.
Okay.
I think that's where Loki gets recruited into the same type of organization as that.
Yeah. So the Time Variant, they basically are they've grabbed Loki, and they're the ones that take the Tesseract from him. They have it, and then he drops in the trailer. He drops into Mongolia, and so that's where I think that's where he's going to be in the first episode. Is he's doing something in Mongolia, and that's where all those weird names you were mentioning. Those are all Mongolian actors and Chinese.
Okay.
But what I think is going to be is that they've got Loki because he is the only one that has not been affected by the events of Endgame, and so he's, he is able to go back and change these things and not affect the timeline completely, just the things that he's touching because he's from this other time or this other multiverse or whatever, however way you want to explain it. Time and the multiverse are very much coinciding a lot. And so that's going to be confusing sometimes too. But that's what I see, is that basically they're going to use Loki to go and affect these different things, but then he also, he's Loki, so he's going to do whatever he wants, and so that's my thing, is that he's going to go along with it. This follows along. There's a comic book series called Vote Loki, where Loki goes back and affects the timeline so that he can become president.
Loki
Okay.
for president.
Yeah, I also saw that
Yeah.
in the video about
And
that.
so, because like at the in the trailer, you see him with his little Vote Loki thing,
Yeah.
and then there's like a Mongolian soldier. There's different people from these different timelines, and so I think that's what's going to happen is he's going to affect these things. Hey Emily, and then turn around and basically screw over the TVA, or at least try to do his own thing, because that's at least what I see, and that's what going through from the comic books. Again, they totally change things all the time, but that's what I see. And I think because I think all of the back and forth of changing the existing timeline of from Endgame and things like that, the stuff that we've already seen, that may jump in there little by bit. But I think that this is going to be changing things in history in order to affect what happens to either stop Endgame or change Endgame, so that then now we have a new multiverse.
Okay, welcome in, LSU mom, Emily.
Yep, we said hi to her.
But that's as far as I'll go because it gets way complicated.
So complicated.
And that wasn't half an hour, Tracy.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I tell you, the other show that Kenzie had us watch, we watched the first season of The Umbrella Academy. That's a good show too. We should really branch out to other.
Yeah, I haven't watched
A lot of people told me to watch that. I haven't watched it yet, but I know people,
It's very good.
Okay.
a few of my friends. they
What's
said
it
to
on
watch
Netflix or?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Okay.
and if you like nerd, an Umbrella Academy is a graphic novel that was turned into a TV show, and it's actually pretty good. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's that's the vibe I get from the Loki series, is that we're going to be getting a lot of time jumping, a lot of altering, Loki making a mess of everything. So the last,
it'll be fun. So
of
So
course,
did you see Garrett's comment? He wants to see
Rocket should be Al from Quantum
Rocket
Leap.
should be out from Quantum Leap.
Oh, Rocket. Yeah.
Well, I think that's kind of what Owen
Mhm.
Wilson's character is supposed to be. He's the Al. He's the one that's his handler, basically.
Or
So.
should have been Groot. Every time he shows up, I'm Groot. What am I supposed to do? I'm Groot.
so the next show I have written down, and then after that, it's all Russ. We have What If, which is an animated anthology series created by A.C. Bradley, directed by Brian Andrews. It's a series that explores what would happen if major moments in the Marvel Universe had happened differently.
Oh,
We've got Jeffrey Wright as Oatu, or the Watcher, who is a member of the Watcher race. Observing the multiverse, he can intervene with events going on. So he's, watching what's going on in the universe, and if he wants to, he can affect things. He can go and alter things, not for anybody's sake or anything like that. It's not like he wants to befriend anybody. It's not like he wants to be a part of their universe. It's more just like messing with stuff. So almost all of the Marvel characters are going to be in it. I have a very long list. I have a picture of them.
Almost all the original cast from the Avengers.
We've got, we've got Peggy, Thanos, Howard Stark, Hank Pym, Nebula, Grandmaster, Thor, Loki, Korath, Nick Fury, Killmonger, Jane Foster, Clint Barton, Yondu, Scott Lang, Bruce Banner, Bucky Barnes, Korg, and the rest of the main cast is going to be in it. All of those people are being played by those actual
Which is good, because realistically, when they're going to the animation, just like when they did the Clone Wars, they never brought Hayden Christensen to voice Anakin Skywalker. If they can, believe me, go into animation, it's cheaper in the long run. They're going to pay for those voices now. If the What If series takes off and it goes on down the line, I don't see them getting those big name stars doing the voiceovers, but you never know.
And
but
this is also Chadwick Boseman's last work that he did as T'Challa.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
they have his voice. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's gonna have an episode or two. So
Wow.
Well, on the internet, it says that Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa and Star-Lord. I don't know what's up with that.
Oh.
yeah, I do. But
What is it?
so the What If series is basically taking the events that have already happened that we already know of and flipping the switch and changing them. So like what if instead of Steve Rogers becoming Captain America, Peggy becomes Captain Britain? so because she gets the shield and she gets the super serum. The whole thing with T'Challa is rather than have Chris Pratt's character get abducted by Yondu, it's T'Challa, a young T'Challa, who gets abducted and he becomes Star-Lord instead of Black Panther. And so it's those type stories as to, okay, well, this character, has gone through all of this, but because the Watcher decided, okay, well, let's see what happens with this.
Yeah.
Right.
Then this is the story of that. So
See,
it's
I
gonna-
remember.
And
And these are based on the What
Yeah.
If comics. I remember seeing it because my brother Billy used to collect comics or seen comics. The one that I remember him looking at was what if Ghost Rider became the Punisher?
Yeah.
So I remember that from back in the day, and believe me, you don't want Ghost Rider as the Punisher.
yeah. But it's a way to do crossover things. It's a way to do just totally different stories. I think it's cool. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Because you'll have stories that you didn't really think, could happen,
And they're one-off stories. They're not going to affect the timeline in any way. They're going to be just, hey, what if this happened? And let's run for it. And if it lasts one or two episodes, it doesn't mess with the rest of the timeline. And that's why what animation makes it good is because they're not limited to granted, now that we have the volume, you could easily do something in the volume, but doing it in animation, they can it's in a studio all by itself. They can do whatever they want.
And these are going to be shorter episodes, so we're getting more of them. We're getting 10 episodes in the first season.
Yeah.
I have really high hopes for this. I am very excited to finally see some animated Marvel content.
There's a lot of animated Marvel content.
There is.
Well, yeah, I know that. But what I'm saying is, we're getting something as big as this
oh yeah.
in animation.
Yeah, this is the first MCU
Right.
Yep. That's what I meant.
animation.
So I'm very excited about that. That's being released mid-2021. Not specific, apparently. But it's going to be really interesting. I'm really excited about it. I'm interested in seeing what they're messing with. So that's all I have down. I'm going to let Russ take it away because he has all the info written down.
I'll go through just quickly, just the other things that were announced. Some things that are announced as films, that are also coming out this year. The first being Black Widow. That's supposed to come out May 7th. And so it's a whole her own story. So I'm excited about that. It's supposed to follow after Captain America: Civil War and before Endgame, obviously before she's killed. So this will be kind of her backstory, but also introduce new characters. So that's of course that was slated to have been released in 2020, but then got pushed.
What? Why weren't they released in 2020? Give us some Marvel content in 2020. Oh, that's right. Things happened.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, they are going to definitely hold out to try and do theaters, because then that also helps with income. So the next one that I'm extremely excited about is the Eternals. And this is slated to be released November 5th. And if you don't know who the Eternals are, the Eternals were basically immortal aliens that have lived on Earth for centuries, since the beginning of time. They have superpowers, and each one has a different type power, but each one is they're the ones that, like, when you hear of a legend of, Athena from the Roman gods, there is a character named Athena who is played by Angelina Jolie, who is a warrior. And so that's where her story comes from. And so those legends through history, they were actually one of the Eternals. And so you've got these different things that, and each one has their own powers. Well, they have to come together and come out of hiding in order to save humanity from other Eternals called the Deviants. And so I'm excited about it. this is going to be a very, very interesting movie. I feel it will also. I think I don't know if it's going to be a standalone or if it will affect the MCU, but that could have implications down the road. You know, as a totally new group. You know, just like the Guardians, just like the Avengers, this is a totally new group within the MCU that we could see, you know, continue.
Okay.
The next thing on my list is the next Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is slated to come out March 25th of 2022. And I think that's where all of this stuff that's coming out is supposed to culminate in the actions of Doctor Strange, because he's the master of the multiverse. You know, he's the one that can control it all with the time stone and all of that.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have a time stone no more.
No, he doesn't have
Well,
it
he
anymore.
in the movie he gets it back.
How do you get it back? Thanos snapped it out of existence.
It's the timelines. So
You could
it'll-
do anything, I guess, at that point.
he will get it back.
If I could. Lisa.
Next on my list is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is the origin story of the Mandarin, the real Mandarin,
Not
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 the
Not
fake
the orange.
Mandarin from Iron Man 3
Forgot about Iron Man
or the
3
Ben
more.
Kingsley Mandarin. And it's also this follows a character named Shang-Chi, who basically is Marvel's version of Bruce Lee. And they Stan Lee basically copied him from Bruce Lee. They've been in the works to make this movie since the 70s, when Bruce Lee had just died. They wanted his son to play him. They wanted his, you know, other people. When he was still at his height. This was when they developed this movie, but it never panned out. So now they're finally making this movie. It's going to have lots of martial arts in it. We're going to get the origin story of the Ten Rings terrorist group that we see in a lot throughout the multiverse, or throughout the MCU in the past movies. So lots of cool stuff there. I'm excited about that. We got Miss Marvel, which is slated to come out late 2021, which is the introduction to the new character of Miss Marvel. She's a fairly new character within the Marvel comics. Has tie-ins with Captain Marvel as kind of a sidekick, but this will be her origin story. Introduce new characters. Introduce some of the young Avengers, which they're going to start working on throughout this time. Then we have Captain Marvel 2, which is supposed to come out November 11th, 2022. We've got a Hawkeye series that's coming in late 2021, which will follow Clint Barton, but then also the Kate Bishop version, which is the Young Avengers version of Hawkeye. And so he will be training her. And this is supposed to happen while he is still the rogue Hawkeye. So that kind of a thing.
I like that.
So it'll have a little bit of a dark side, but then also it's supposed to be kind of lighthearted from what I read. Then we've got She-Hulk, which is supposed to happen in 2022, which is supposed to be a comedy, which I'm sure will be hilarious. We've got a Moon Knight series that's supposed to be coming. Which that character, if you don't know Moon Knight, he's a very interesting character, and will be a lot of fun. We've got Secret Invasion series, which is with Nick Fury and Talos from Captain Marvel. So that'll be like a buddy cop type thing. We've got Ironheart, which is the Young Avengers version of Iron Man, and Robert Downey Jr. has already signed on for the project. And
I thought he was done playing this character.
no, he's still going to be playing. He'll be a voice basically, and
Okay.
he'll be doing, you know, cameo type, or he'll be doing like, you know, flashback stuff. And the Ironheart comic series, he is the voice of the suit. He's the new Jarvis.
Right. That's cool.
We have
Interesting.
Armor Wars, which is also an Iron Man thing, and it follows War Machine, and him trying to protect and recollect stolen Stark technology. We've got the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which is slated for Christmas of 2022.
Oh boy.
And it's supposed to be an actual MCU story. So it will be a shorter movie or shorter film, but that will also play into then other things going on within the MCU. So it's not just like a standalone type thing, like the Star Wars special was. It's a it'll have something it'll flow with the rest of the MCU. We have another animated short series of I Am Groot, which will follow teenage Groot and older Groot. So it'll be kind of bounce around. I think it'll be little shorts and things about Groot. And I think they're just shorts. I think they're like, a couple minutes long just for fun type things. Of course, we got Thor Love and Thunder, which is supposed to come out May 6th, 2022. And Christian Bale just signed on for that as the bad guy. We've got the next Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, also for 2022. Black Panther 2. And they did announce that they will not recast T'Challa. So the theory is that they'll have his sister become Black Panther. We've got a Fantastic Four movie in the works. We've got...
is there a Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
There is a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in the works. I think that will be probably 2023, possibly.
Wow.
So that's later on down. Now we're getting into those type things.
That's because the director for Guardians of the Galaxy was fired. He went and took a job for DC. He's directing the new Suicide Squad, and then a lot of the original cast from Guardians of the Galaxy said, "Well, if you're not going to hire him back, we're dropping from the project altogether." So Disney rehired the original director. So, and he was already committed to Suicide Squad, so it pushed that whole thing right out.
Okay.
Right.
What were you going to say, Abby?
I don't know if I'm excited for the Fantastic Four because the new one, I was kind of disappointed with the new one. It wasn't as good. It wasn't very good. I didn't like it at all.
This Fantastic Four will be tied into the MCU, and they will have a purpose. Okay. So it won't be a standalone thing, and I think that's going to help a lot with them. There's also talk that there will be X-Men will be introduced at some point within the MCU now that Disney owns them.
That Kevin Feige has a better understanding of when we talk about Jon Favreau handling Star Wars, we have Kevin Feige who's handling Marvel.
Yeah.
And I think what Sony learned by giving Kevin Feige some input on the Spider-Man, I think you're going to see Fantastic Four and the X-Men brought into the Marvel Universe in a decent way that's not going to be because Fantastic Four has been handled horribly. Listen, I remember the original Fantastic Four, the one that wasn't as bad as everybody says it was, but the second one was bad. And the only reason why they did the Fantastic Four, the recent one, was if they didn't make it a Fantastic Four movie, they would have lost the movie rights. It would have reverted back to Marvel, which Marvel ended up taking and getting back anyway.
Yeah. And I could go on that too. But we're out of time.
Yeah.
And then real quickly, we've got Sony's Marvel stuff, which is the next Spider-Man Homecoming movie. We've got Deadpool 3 that's not been announced yet, but it is in production. We've got Venom: Let There Be Carnage, which is supposed to come out June 25th of 2021. And then we've got a second Into the Spider-Verse animated movie that's in the works. We've got Blade. And then we have a possible either Black Cat movie or a Gwen Stacy movie. And they're already talking to Olivia Wilde to play whichever one of those characters they decide to use. And then there's also a Logan X-23 movie with the girl from Logan. And that's all that I know of right now. I know it's a long list.
Mm-hmm.
So, but lots of stuff to be excited about.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So What do you guys have coming up?
Who? Pinky?
Yeah.
I got
Pinky, what you got coming up? Oh. That's what he has coming up.
Thursday, not wasting time. I have to figure out what I'm talking about. Maybe, who knows? I'll figure it out by Thursday.
Okay. And
Well, right after this, we are heading to Hollywood Studios. And
Nice.
then we are going to have dinner there, which we're not going to live stream that. And then we're going to head over to Epcot. So we're going to do a live stream at some point, one place or the other or both. Maybe we'll go from one place to the other. I don't know. And then just look out for some vlogs and some shorts. And then Friday is Festival of the Arts, first day. So we will be there for
Already?
opening day. Yes. Abby has school, so she won't be there, but I will be there with Jeff. So that's what we have.
You will be there multiple times, Abby.
Yes. Yeah. We'll come get you after school. We'll go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hurt my neck. I turned it too fast. That hit
You guys
something
will
in
be
my
at Epcot like every night.
Exactly. So,
Making everybody else jealous.
no.
so Russ,
Let's see. Next Saturday, you don't want to miss that day. For Saturday at 3, I've got a very special guest,
Mm.
and going to be a lot of fun. And but it's a secret, so I'm going to surprise you guys. So very
Is
special
it
guest.
Santa?
No.
I know him.
We can have Santa on. Is he like trying to he's trying to take a break and you're going to have him on, but yeah.
I know him.
No, it's not Santa.
If you're Santa,
maybe
what's the song
maybe
I
it's
sang
Garrett.
you on your birthday?
So-
Maybe it's Garrett. He's going to finally show his face.
Oh.
Yeah.
we've got Nerd Talk on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then I've got Nerd Talk next Sunday, and we will be discussing the upcoming Disney stuff that's coming out on Disney Plus or in theaters. And there's a lot of projects that are coming that we really haven't talked about a lot. So I'm excited to kind of discuss those a little bit. And then also I'm still working on my Lego stuff and things like that. I'm working on a project right now over here. It's a mess, but my stop motion stuff that I'm kind of getting into and having fun with. And I'm not becoming a Lego channel, but that's basically all I can do right now because I can't go to the parks and I can't, spend money. So this is what I
Yeah.
have in the house. So
It is what it is, right? And I love those little movies that you're doing. So
yeah, it's fun to make them, and it's a new thing for me, and it's a challenge for me to kind of figure it all out. And
yeah.
I learned how to do green screen last night. So
Nice.
that's going to be coming in the next thing. So just little things like that.
So I'm not streaming tomorrow, but I'm gonna
Secretly, she is.
no. I'm shorts this week. I posted a bunch last week. I don't want to clutter up my channel with so many shorts, but again, thank you guys so much for 800 subscribers. You guys are great, and I
Congratulations.
yay. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week on Nerd Talk Sunday at 3 o'clock on Russ Stapleton's channel, and we will be talking about upcoming things in Disney. We talked about upcoming Star Wars. We talked about upcoming Marvel. So we've got upcoming Disney in general, and then I believe after that is when we're going to start talking about WandaVision.
Yeah, because that's when it starts.
So I'll see you guys in the chats. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Everybody.